Hello and welcome to this episode of Warriors Raised. In this episode, I have guest Marcus Soares join me. Marcus Soares is born and raised in Rio De Janeiro. He's a red belt in juijitsu, and he was trained by Carlson Gracie. He currently lives in Canada and has 3 schools that he teaches at regularly in Langley, Maple Ridge, and Vancouver, as well as affiliate schools all over the world. Marcus Soares, in this episode, tells the story of meeting Carlson Gracie when he was 13 and beginning his training with him, and his story of mentorship under Carlson Gracie and his family, the Gracie family. I personally was deeply touched hearing this story and just knowing myself how beautiful and important it is to find the right mentorship in your life, and what a gift it is when you find the right mentorship, and also as a mentor when you find the right students. Here it is. I would love to start. I have so many questions for you, and I know that it's going to go by quickly, but I would love to start just by hearing what got you into training martial arts? Like what led you to training? Like, you grew up in Rio. Tell us a little bit about your childhood and what got you into that first experience of training martial arts.
Well, in Brazil, right, life is totally different here from Canada, right? So kids, especially in my generation, people stay at the street playing with other kids all the time, and sometimes have altercation, right? So have to fight. Even my brother sometimes used to fight each other. I want to watch the channel, the guy want to watch the other channel, and other situation, right? So, and when we play soccer, sometimes have fights too, but I was involved in many fights all my life, even against bigger kids, I never was afraid to fight night. And I have a big influence in my life of my uncle. He was my godfather. He was married with the sister of my mom, and I spent a lot of time with them because my mom used to work. I used to live with my grandpa and my grandma, but sometimes my godmother kidnapping. Always he taught me how to do the first takedowns. He was black belt in judo and jiu-jitsu, and helped me many sports, helped me to learn how to swim, and helped me to study when I did my economics course. I used to study with him. He was super intelligent, IQ like 150, 160, I don't even know how much, but very smart guy. And also when I did my physical education university course, he helped me too, and I was even invited to be a teacher because I knew more things than the real teacher of the university, right? So he invited me if I would like to teach, but my thing was not to teach in university at that time. And when I was 11, my uncle first, he brought me to his friend the gym to lift weights. And that time we used to call halterofilismo, the name of it's not these terms they have nowadays. You lift weights there to get big, to get strong, So anyway, and he told me, so in the future, any sport people do nowadays, you need to lift weights. You see, a swimmer lift weight, a fighter lift weight, basketball, soccer, any sport, they do the weights, right? So, and he said, you need a very good base in your muscles, your body, to accept the punishment when you get involved in sports. So when you're strong, you're gonna suffer way less than other people are not prepared for that. So I started when I was 11, lift weights, and when I was 13, he decided me to introduce me to Carlson Gracie, that was his friend. He said, I think so you should start to train some jiu-jitsu now. Took me there, and that's it. I started jiu-jitsu. I fell in love the same day. Got close friend to the Carlson at the first minute, so it's something I said, oh my God, they did this for me. It's everything I like, because I was a natural grappler when I was a kid, even before I do jiu-jitsu. All my fights, I go to the neck of the guy. So when I learn the proper techniques to do what I like to do, it's even better, right? So I feel at home, and that's it. He started my training with Carlson and became a very good friend with him. So that's the story.
That's the story.
Yeah.
Amazing. So this was when you were 13, you started studying with Carlson Gracie.
Yes.
How frequently did you guys train? Was it like, how many times a week were you training?
Well, when I started that time, first I had to do learn the self-defense program. They had like 32 techniques to learn, right? So, and I learned super fast. I learned in 2 or 3 weeks, I don't remember, and after that, I could go to the other room to start to train. And I started to train just with the adults. Carlson had no kids at that time, right? So that's it. I was thrown to the lions and have to survive, right? But
Yeah.
it's the best way, when you see problems in your life, you have to use your intelligence to find the solutions to fix the problems, right? So if everything is easy in your life, you're never going to improve. I like the challenge. I always like it since I was a kid, and that's it. Here I am. After 53 years, still doing what I love.
Still doing it. So you fell in love on the first day. I love that.
Exactly.
Can you tell me about your first times? Like, I'm not talking about a street fight, but like an organized match or competing. Can you tell us about your first experiences competing in? Did you compete in jiu-jitsu first?
Well, my first competition, right? I had 3 weeks of training, but I always like to compete, and I asked Carlson, and he saw some potential on me, right? So after 3 weeks of training, I didn't know much. I didn't know almost nothing, right? So I'm doing this 53 years. I'm still learning. That's the beauty of jiu-jitsu, make you humble. More you know, you don't know, right? So, anyway, but I went to this fight, 41 person way heavier than me, bigger than me, right? So, but in my generation, people wait for the submission, right? So we fought the fights, and after that we had 3 overtimes because the fight was super close. They thought nobody should win. But after 3 overtimes, right, I lost a split decision. 2 guys choose the other guy, 1 guy choose me because that thing was going forever, right? So that's how I start, with my left foot, not with my right foot, because I got really mad because I lost, but I didn't put too much pressure on myself that time because I was brand new. I didn't know much, but and my condition was not still very good, so in the future that I started to be a little psychopath and training harder to improve not only my technique, but my condition. So keeping my tongue inside my mouth when it's time to fight, right? So cannot be like a dog dying, right? So
Yeah. Amazing.
that's it,
Yeah. How was it like? I would love to hear about Carlson Gracie. Like, what was your relationship with him? Like, just you you met and you trained, or did you also like, did he also teach you his life philosophies, like as a mentor? What was he like for you?
No, Carson is that kind of guy that he was like a father to all his students, and that's what I learned with him. When you have a gym, you have to be friend of your students before you be a teacher, right? So the friendship environments, make everything go smooth and have a trust, and is the best way, in my opinion, to go. And that's what I try to do with my team here in Canada, all the 3 schools, my representatives, my friends. I even have guys, not my representatives, but many people are very happy to invite me to go and do seminars for them. So the atmosphere in jiu-jitsu should be like that, friendship first, because nobody should be enemy. They are enemy just during the competition. After that, become friends again, right? So
Totally. That was certainly my experience when we came, the first time I met you when we came, which was my first grading as well. And I'd been training jujitsu a few months with Colton here on the island. And then we came to meet you, and it felt like I was nervous about, the grading and all of those things, but it felt like being welcomed into a big extended family and a whole bunch of new friends who were really cool, and this like very welcoming environment, which you learn. I think that you learn so much more in an environment like that, especially when you're learning
yeah.
something that is like challenging your different fears, or like facing danger or the perception of danger. But,
Yeah, that's what I try to do. Doesn't matter if it's competition or grading or whatever. I try to transmit peace to the students, and they have to understand it's going to be just another ordinary day. Fight is like you go to a training. You're only going to have a different partner, opponent, right? So one person that you don't know. But when you train hard, you ask questions, because this is what makes a big difference in my gym. I let my students ask questions about anything, every single class. I don't prepare, study something at home, and today, oh no, today I'm just going to teach this, teach that. No, I give you the freedom. And not many people have this knowledge to make this, right? Because sometimes even positions I've never been at, I know how to find a solution to deal with the problem, So but that's it. Making things normal and easy is the best way to do, right? And going back to Carlson Gracie, so how I said, he's this kind of guy, friends of everybody. Sometimes always invite people after the class to go eat something, to listen music with him. He likes French music, we have to sit and listen French music with him, make him happy, and talk about fights, talk about the past, about the house they used to have in the mountains in Teresópolis. I used to go there when I was young, but later they sold the house. The house was huge, the area and the proper house. The house had 17 bedrooms, because the family was big. Carlos Gracie, his dad, had 21 kids, and they need a big space. But anyway, it was very fun there. They used to put the mats outside on the grass, so we practice self-defense, fight, takedowns, whatever, right? So it was very cool to be there. And his house was close to the house of my family that we used to go also to Teresópolis, the city on the mountains in Rio de Janeiro. So, and I know everybody from the family since I was 13, big friends with everybody, and that's it. I feel like I'm part of the family, because involved and friends with them for so long.
When's the last time that you were back in Brazil and seeing them?
Well, last time was last year. I was long time without going to Brazil. But last year I had to go. First of all, we had a seminar with some friends of my generation. We created the top 5 seminar. We are 5 guys, right? Me, Marcus Santos. Marcus Santos is my partner in the gym in Copacabana that we have together there. Fernando Pinduca, Otávio Peixotinho, and Amaury Bittetti. But Amaury couldn't come to that event, so we invite Carlson Gracie Jr., the son of Carlson, to participate with us, And after that, too, I went to my belt ceremony because it was time to get my red belt, So I had a nice ceremony with some friends, some people from my family there, and everything was really good. Good times. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you miss it living here in Canada, or?
Well, the human being have to adapt, right? So of course, Canada is not Brazil, and Brazil is not Canada. We have to take advantage the best things the country and the people have to offer to you, and that's it. I cannot be here thinking about other things is not available at the moment. You're gonna suffer if you live your life like that, right? So I don't know. I think so. We should try to be happy every day, and I'm happy. I love salmons. Canada have the best salmon in the world. I have some very good friends here.
Yeah.
Friendship is a little bit different here, but I have some good friends here in Canada too. But talk about, for example, the weather. The weather here is not good, right? So cannot compare the weather here in Brazil. Brazil, we don't have winter. I even had a problem when I came to Canada. I didn't have a jacket for cold weather, right? So I have to go crazy, and it's impossible almost to find in Brazil. I found this store that sell equipment for people go to Himalayas, K2, to places very cold, or even ski. And I bought a good jacket to come to Canada because I didn't have it because we don't use in Brazil, So, and especially Rio de Janeiro, Copacabana Beach, where I'm from, we have this thing about the beach, Everything happens at the beach. You see your friends every day, what you guys gonna do later, and play sports together at the beach, So it's very cool. And here, people go to the beach here. They can. I myself, I don't drink, but some people like to drink. They cannot drink. Come with the police in the motorcycles, ATVs, and things, So the guys don't have too much freedom here. So freedom in Brazil, nightclubs don't finish 2:00 like here in Brazil. Go until the last guy go away, So
yeah,
life is totally different, But this is better for younger people. Not that young anymore. So
yeah.
in Canada, life is suit well for me. So
My older 2 sons are living in Brazil right now. They're like south of Porto Alegre. And I went to go visit them in March, and yeah, it was beautiful. I actually hung out mostly with 2 girls one is the girlfriend of my son's friend, and then her friend. They're both from Rio, and yeah, the girls went out. We went out together one night, and yeah, right on the beach, like just everything you're describing, like very easygoing, and places stayed open late until you were ready to go. Like there wasn't like cutoff time. But yeah, it's a different feeling for sure.
Next time you go, you should go to Rio because it's beautiful and people are more relaxed there, you know.
Yeah.
In Rio de Janeiro, your 5 minute friendship looks like a 30 years friendship. That's the difference, you know. So
Yeah.
people get along and, you know, you see how they are warm to, you know.
Yes. That's definitely how I felt with my son's friend's girlfriend. Like we just got along so well right away. And she speaks English incredibly well too. So it was really easy to understand her. And yeah, and just to hear about her growing up in Rio. She I think lived in a fairly rough neighborhood in Rio because she lived
Mm.
through some pretty intense things that yeah, but I would love to know for you if you could tell us about this might be a hard question to answer, but what was one of the hardest fights that you did, or like that's my question.
Hardest fights.
Yeah, do you
Well,
remember?
the hardest fight was with the immigration in Canada to come here, you know.
With the immigration? That's awesome.
They gave me a hard time, you know. So to come here, first of all, I came to Canada, do a job that nobody here in Canada did, right? So I was the only black belt in the whole country when I came to Canada in March '97. And they should be happy I be here because I'm gonna save money to the country. You understand? So
Yeah.
people, Canadian wanna learn jiu-jitsu, what they used to do? They used to go to Brazil or United States because had a lot of Brazilians there already, right? So what they did when I came to Canada, they stay in the country, they save the country, they didn't spend the money in another country, and I was teaching people to have a profession here, you understand? Have more instructors here in Canada. And third, many people from other countries come to Canada to train with me, so bring money to the country. And in my interviews, they treat me like if I was a criminal, you understand? So,
yeah.
and I was tough with them. They scream to me, I scream back. I'm not afraid because I know I have a job offer in any country of the world I want to go, you know, because I'm very serious in what I do. So I was not afraid. They scream to me, I scream back, right? So, but, you know, you don't need this necessity to have all this bad time, you know. You have to treat the people more respectful, you know, not to scream to me, ask why I changed my sponsor, you know. I slapped the table of the lady, I said, put my finger in her face and said, look, I'm changing my sponsor because I'm one of the best in the world what I do. And I have 20 people want to be my sponsor. And I have the freedom to choose whoever I want to be my sponsor, right? Is this a crime? You want to send me back to Brazil? You can send it right now. I don't care. And she signed the paper and approved, you know, but, you know, people shouldn't treat people like that. I call abuse of power. I don't want to treat the students come to my gym and I choke the guy and say, look, I can kill you. I can break your arm, right? So I don't want to do this. So because they have power, but I'm not the guy like put my tail between my legs, right? So I treat people the way they deserve, right? I'm super nice guy. You're nice with me, I'm 10 times nicer to you, right? But if you're bad to me, I don't want to put my tail between my legs, right? So
yeah.
no problem. But that was a hard fight I had in my life. But
yeah.
going back to jiu-jitsu,
Yes.
I don't remember. I had some tough fights. I had two fights that didn't even go to the ground because was against good opponents, right? So, but I never had a problem because hard fight is when you don't train properly for the fight. You cannot go to the fight and get tired,
Mm.
right? So this is I even joke with my friends, and say, man, this UFC have a lot of guys are not professional because people pay to see the show. You cannot go to the show and get tired and not fight anymore, right? You imagine if you pay a rock concert to go and the singer gets tired and don't he sing half song and oh, I can't do this anymore. Come on. No. You pay to see the guy. The guy have to prepare to perform in the show, right? So, but nowadays people don't care too much. But this, I think, so is a big problem for anybody. Don't have good conditioning to go to the fights, and I always did a lot, way more than I should. So I never had this problem to get tired. I could train for 2 hours with fresh guy after fresh guy and don't get tired. So it's very important, your condition, in my opinion. But nowadays, people are too lazy. They lay down on the couch, they want to take products, you know what I'm talking about. So,
Yeah.
and they don't want to spend the energy to prepare his body the way they should. They want the easy way. But my generation was not like that. And I'm glad I did everything hard work, and hard work every day.
When you have people like from your school now or like from one of your clubs training to compete, are you like to optimize their performance or conditioning, do you think it's best for them just to train jujitsu, or do you think there are other things that should be added in? Like for your training, was it just like more time on the mats, or were you also like running and doing other things like that, lifting weights? Well, I guess you said weights was a part of it.
Yeah, give you a good base, right? But you need to train smart. You cannot train it to be a bodybuilder. Oh, look like you are a robot. You have to be loose for jiu-jitsu. You need to have strength, but the endurance is more important than the strength because the guys use the strength. They after 2-3 minutes they're gonna be tired, and the muscle don't respond to the message of the brain because kind of paralyze the muscles. You use so much strength for 1 or 2 minutes there, and the body don't gonna respond anymore, right? So the training have to be specific too. So when it's time of the competition, you need to know what you have to do before the competition. You have the season and off-season parts of the training, right? So you need to be smart to do the thing at the right time. So
for you, did most of your competing happen in Brazil or in Canada as well?
No, in Brazil only. Yeah. And how I said the other day, the other interview, I got very impressed with some athletes came to train jiu-jitsu at the Carlson Gracie school there. The condition of the guys, I always observe everything in the fighters, the flexibility, the coordination, the endurance, so many things are important to jiu-jitsu. Your grip, right? How I say, your grip is your business card. If you hold the guy proper, the guy gonna know who you are right away, see you not that bum, So good grip, you control the opponents like you make him feel like a chihuahua on the leash, you control really the guy. So anyway, the condition is very important. It's how I said, I got very impressed with the guys used to do water polo and rowing, and I started to do both sports too to help increase my conditioning, and was really good,
Mhm.
But you needed to have the time, the desire, right, and the dedication, right? So if you got lazy, oh, today my friends call me, have a party here, have this there, I don't know. In Rio de Janeiro, it's very hard because have many attractions that gonna, stop your training, but you needed to be very strong-minded so you don't get involved in things that don't gonna help you to your goal, right? So
All the distractions.
exactly.
Yeah, I just have to quickly let my puppy in. I'll be back in like 2 seconds. Just one minute. Sorry about that. I don't know if you can hear her barking, but she's just she's 6 months old and she's like, anyways, she's figuring it out.
Yeah.
In your like the you run 3 different schools right now, right? In Canada, like
Yeah.
in your neighborhood, basically.
Vancouver, downtown, Maple Ridge, and Langley.
And do you teach most of the classes, or do you have other people teaching for you as well?
No, I don't have a clone, right? So I need people to help me, right? So
Yeah,
but I teach every day of the week,
yeah.
right? So I go Monday, Wednesdays, and Sundays to Vancouver, Tuesday, Thursdays, and Saturdays in Langley, and Thursday and Friday in Maple Ridge, because I have some group of homeschoolers. They train here in Maple Ridge every Thursday and Friday at 1 p.m. Right? So I go Thursday, for example, I teach here for them, and after that I go to Langley. I have 4 classes in a row there for the little kids, the teenagers, and the adults. So Thursday is a busy day because I teach 5 classes in a row. But thank you, God, I have good health and energy to do my job.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you have a favorite age that you like teaching? Like you kids or teenagers or adults, or like everybody's fun?
No, I teach the guys, I teach everybody, but I prefer to teach the guys who want to learn. It doesn't matter if the guy is 5 or the guy is 100, So the guys have the interest to learn, ask questions, even if, because not everybody have a very good talent to do jiu-jitsu, right? So I don't mind repeat and show again the technique, because sometimes people have a little problem to understand the movie, right? But we repeat. But I don't like people don't have interest, I'm showing the technique, they are not even look to me, they don't even know what I'm talking about. So I don't even know why the person is there in the class, right? So if you go to something, you have to be interested, It's like you don't gonna have sex, read a magazine, right? So
No.
just the way, if you go to the class, you have to, right? Keep attention and try to do as many times as possible the technique, because repetition is one of the best teachers, As much you repeat the movie, more you're gonna get in your mind and you don't gonna forget when you need to use. So
yeah. Do you have many people training with you right now who are like competing at a high level? or is it more people who are like just looking for overall
Well,
well-being? Mhm.
I know I teach everybody. People
Yeah.
want to compete, people want to train just for fun, and that's why I have a very good warm-up in my classes during the week. In the weekend, I don't do the warm-up, but during the week, we work hard before the classes, between 25 and 30 minutes, and that's it, if the guys want to compete. But I always give advice they should do something extra if they need to lift some weights or run or swim or whatever, right? So, because the conditioning, how I said, is very important, So if you have time, but the problem nowadays, the world is getting more difficult every year, Things more expensive, you need to work, make more money, and so people don't have the time available. Only if the guy quit everything and decided to be a professional fighter and make money fighting, right? So, but right now is not the case with my students. Everybody have families, have jobs, right? So they cannot be a professional. Sometimes they compete, in tournaments. I had students going to, for example, one of my students that unfortunately passed away, Benito Segura. This guy went to compete in all the continents of the planet, He competes South America, North America, Europe, Asia, Australia, South Africa, everywhere you can imagine he went to compete and always got medals in all the tournaments, I don't even know if other people in the world did the same thing, So, but I prepare the guys and they perform well and always bring good results to the team,
Mhm.
So
What
whatever,
would you, oh, pardon me?
whatever they want, we prepare them, right?
Mhm.
But the more important here is the family spirit, we are together, we watch UFCs together, we do things together. So that's what's important,
Yeah, absolutely. What do you think is unique about your style of jujitsu? Like I've been sort of exploring, like at first my jujitsu world was very small. Like I just only had done classes on Salt Spring with like 6 people. And then I came to your school and got to experience that. And then I was in Austin in January. I went to a few classes there. I've been to a class in Victoria. I've experienced a little bit more. And I noticed that um, even when I go to a competition and I'm like watching everybody, each school kind of has their own culture.
Exactly.
And I'm curious, it might be hard to answer about yourself, but I'm curious what you would say is like unique about your approach or like your role as a master in jiu-jitsu, that the teachings that you're bringing forth to the people who are your students.
Okay, first of all, if you had a business, right? Come with 2 people to you. One have in his resume, the diploma from Harvard. The other one did a course on the internet, right?
Yeah.
Things make a difference. I came from Carlson Gracie. Carlson Gracie is a guy should be awarded with the coach of the millennium because in 1,000 years, nobody gonna do what he did. He created a team in Brazil that won every single tournament, the overall trophy, for over 30 years, So this guy do something right. You understand? Because in any other sport on the planet, nobody won everything, not even for 10 years. This guy did it for 30. He's the son of jiu-jitsu. Nobody gonna shine like him, right? So we are little stars comparing to him, right? So This is one thing. So I came from the Carlson Gracie school. Of course, I have a lot of confidence. I used to train with the best guys in Brazil, you know. So I teach effective jiu-jitsu, right? What's the effectiveness of jiu-jitsu? You control the opponent. You give pressure to the opponent. You don't give space to the opponent. Whatever he tried to do, you blocking him, right? So this is the Carlson Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. Play on the top. You and the gravity against the opponent on the bottom, right? So I don't know. They have many styles of jiu-jitsu, but I'm loyal, old school, and I keep the Carlson Gracie style to teach because it still works well against other styles of jiu-jitsu. That's it. You, with good conditioning, you don't get tired in the fights, and you know how to put pressure in your opponents. So it's easy because this kind of game make the opponent mentally weak. Because, for example, you try to do your best shots, your best movement there, and the guy totally block you. You get a little bit discouraged to do something because your best thing is not working. Imagine the rest. Of course, it's not going to work, right? So, and when you put the pressure on the opponent, you make it hard that the guy breathe, you know, you pressure the diaphragm of the guy. And what happens? When you cannot breathe easy, you panic, right?
Yeah.
I know what's about panic because I saw many people die in Brazil, in Copacabana, and you see the panic in the dead body, the guy with the eyes this big here, you know, because when you're afraid, I don't know, looks like your eyes expand a little bit, you know, but the panic, the brain stopped to work. So you have easy time to go to a submission the opponent when he cannot think well. He's only caring about to breathe. He's not caring about to defend your attacks, right? So that's what I think, and that's what I do. Carlson Gracie Jiu-Jitsu all the time, forever. And thanks to old school.
Yeah. I'm curious. I'm relatively new to the world of jujitsu, but one thing that I'm noticing is that, or one thing that I've experienced with different teachers is there's like jujitsu that as I'm learning it, I'm aware it would be really good in a street fight or in a real life situation. And then I'm also learning jujitsu that is going to be really great in a sport or in a, you know, where there's somebody saying like, hey, you're not allowed to do that. And in fact, my middle son, he hasn't done any jujitsu, only stand up, like Muay Thai. But I train with him sometimes at home, like just for fun. And I want to show him a technique I learned, or I'm excited and I show him, and he'll always be like, okay, yeah, but what if I do this? And then he'll pretend to punch me. And I'm like, oh yeah, you're right. That's like not good. You know? So I wonder, like, I'm curious if the original Gracie teachings or Carlson Gracie teachings were, you know, like I see this evolution of jiu-jitsu where there is this element of it being like, I always want to ask people, like, why are you here? What is your purpose in joining jiu-jitsu, right? Because people come for it for different reasons. And, you know, maybe they come for one reason and then it turns it, they fall in love with it, or they meet their best friends, which definitely is my case, like meet all these amazing people that I love training with, and it's a lifestyle. But yeah, I'm curious if the Carlson Gracie or like the original roots of jiu-jitsu were more like going to definitely work in a street fight, in a real life situation, you know?
Yes, it is, because I try many times, you know, and
Yeah.
was easy fights, right? So I had some fights that last less than 30 seconds, and the aggressor spend a month in the hospital, right? So you see if the guy if I fight 1 minute, the guy could be in the cemetery, right? But some people need a lesson in life. Of course, you don't want to fight to kill people, but some people, they do things they shouldn't do, right? And how I said, the Carlson Gracie style, when I started jiu-jitsu in 1970, you learn the self-defense program first. And the most important thing in a fight is you don't let the guy attack you with punches, kicks, headbutts, elbows, whatever, right? So knees, right? So the clinch is the most important thing. You see, for example, who are the best punchers in the world? The boxers. You see, Mike Tyson, George Foreman, that guy touch you, you sometimes fall asleep, right? But you see in boxing what they do to stop the aggressivity of the punch. They clinch the guy. When you're close to the guy, the punch don't have power anymore, right? So we used to train a lot of clinch to avoid the strike. So when you hold the guy cannot do nothing against you. No strikes, right? And if you bring the fight to the ground, people have no clue to fight on the ground. And you can choose whatever you want to do with your opponent there, right? So you can even punch him on the top, but how I say, hands are not made to punch. Hands are made to choke. Even Mike Tyson fight in the nightclub, the guy that I know most well prepared to punch people, he broke his hands. Imagine us, we don't prepare our hands to punch, right? So, of course, we're going to break our hands. My student here, Dennis, he broke his hand 4 times doing MMA, right? So,
wow.
Hands are made to choke. That's what I tell my students, not to punch. You can use it maybe to slap the guy, but you don't break your hands, right? But punch, so even this happened too. If you miss a punch and you punch the guy too hard, what happened? I know because this happened with my student. He disattached the tendon of the biceps because he missed a punch, right? So I don't know. I like jiu-jitsu because it's the art that you can dominate the guy and make he feel shit, right? So, and you only hurt the guy if you want. You don't need to hurt the guy to make him feel shit, right? So,
yeah, maximum control.
Right? For him that he has 0 chance, right? So, in my opinion, that's the beauty of jiu-jitsu. I don't have to knock your teeth out or make you bleed or whatever, right? So I go to a point that I dominate the guy and show him that he's something insignificant to me, that you can destroy anytime you want, right? So
yeah, I think that's why, well, I mean, from what I've heard, jiu-jitsu is taught in many police forces because you're able to like gain maximum control of someone else's body and then determine how much pressure or force you want to use, but you can ultimately control their body without hurting them or even breaking anything or whatever, like.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
Police is not to hurt people, it's to put order, right? So we pay the police to be nice to us. They are our employees, right? But it's like any profession. Some people abuse the authority they have, right? So nobody in a normal conscience is gonna try to attack a police officer, only if the guy is crazy or on drugs or whatever, right? So, but
yeah,
the police is there to help the population, right? Take care of the wrong things. That's the way it should be, right?
Yeah, absolutely. In like in when you lived in Brazil, was jujitsu something that a lot of people were practicing, or was it
No,
still, pardon? No.
no. I started in 1970. What was popular in Brazil was karate because of the movies, right? And judo because it used to be an Olympic sport, right? So karate and judo very popular, and jiu-jitsu became popular in the beginning of the 80s, right? Because one clothing store very popular in Brazil used to call Company, right? I don't even know if they still exist, you know. They
Okay.
started to sponsor athletes and organize the tournaments and give you prizes with clothes, whatever, right? So it's good advertise for them, cheap, you know, just give some clothes to the guys, you know, and that's it. That's when it started to get popular in the middle of the 80s. And in the beginning of the 90s, have a little bit of rivalry between jiu-jitsu and luta livre. Luta livre is a kind of jiu-jitsu, but they do without the gear, right? And we had the challenge there. 4 guys from jiu-jitsu against 4 guys from luta livre. So they fight in a special event there. And jiu-jitsu won all the 4 fights, right? So to prove that it's a good sport. And you can see also when Abu Dhabi, that used to have good money prizes, you know, start, all the jiu-jitsu guys, they don't even use it to train without the gi too much. They went to Abu Dhabi and they won everything there, right? So you see that jiu-jitsu is a very dominant fight against other styles. You know, when, for example, Marcus Soares started in the UFC to dominate some guys even way heavier than him, you know. So was proven, you know. But
Yeah.
nowadays, everybody do jiu-jitsu is not that easy anymore, right? So to beat the guys so fast because they have one idea what it's about.
Right. Like if they don't have the element of surprise, if other people are also learning the same
Exactly.
techniques.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. In your um like you've seen a lot of people come through. How long have you been running schools? Like running your own, like how long have you been teaching jiu-jitsu? I guess is my question.
Well, only Canada, 26 years, you know,
Yeah.
full time. I never had another job here. It's only teach jiu-jitsu, teach seminar, bring
Yeah.
students to tournaments, you know, prepare guys for MMA, and, you know,
Yeah.
only all my life is related with jiu-jitsu, you know, the merchandise I produce to sell, gi, sweatshirts, t-shirts, rash guard, shorts, you know, spats, whatever, right? So,
Yeah.
and I was lucky to find someone that create a good logo for me, so everybody liked the logo. So, and many people are proud also to wear the logo of the team, right? So,
Yeah. Yes, we have a couple of those a couple of the rash guards on our team. I see them fairly regularly. So
yeah.
yeah. In your time, like seeing people, come through, and I'm sure like every other martial arts school, you have people who come, once or twice and they don't come back. But then you have those people who come back and they have been training with you for like 5, 10, 20 years. How would you say that how would you say the practice of jujitsu is impacting the rest of their lives, their businesses, their marriages, their parenting, and so on? What do you think is the
Oh, jiu-jitsu, in my opinion, is very important. Everybody should do it because what jiu-jitsu give it to you? Self-confidence, right? You go to a job interview, if you start to look to the floor, you don't look the guy in the eyes. So they don't want to feel confidence on you, right? So jiu-jitsu gives self-confidence, mental balance, balance in life is everything. You know, you need to know you cannot go too much or you cannot go not enough, so the balance is always important, and it's something that you learn in jiu-jitsu. And in my school, I always try to talk to the guys like they are my friends and give good advice, so talk even about other things, about not jiu-jitsu or fight, we talk about jobs, about food, about whatever, right? So, but I always try to be positive and help it to give you good direction people's lives, And I know that this is very important because not only me, but some other people too have gyms. They change the lives of many people that if they didn't have jiu-jitsu in their lives, they would be in the jail today, for example, right? So I don't know. And the more important is the change jiu-jitsu give on the kids, So the kids come shy, insecure, and with so many problems, We have these bullying problems in schools too, but I have many students used to be bullied in schools. When they learn jiu-jitsu after 1 year and a half, nobody bullied the guys anymore. They are ready to face the problem and don't run away because the bullies are cowards. They want always easy targets, right? So, but if you stop for the confrontation, they don't want anymore because they want this stuff, right? So jiu-jitsu is amazing. Many parents came to me, they don't even know how to thank me. The changes I gave to the lives of these kids, So
yeah, I often imagine what it would be like if the school day, like at every school, just started with half an hour or an hour of jiu-jitsu or something like that. But I think it would be really neat to see what a school would be like, even a high school where that was the normal, because I think that it also obviously helps kids who have been being bullied, but also the kids who are bullies,
yeah,
because there's so much honor and respect that comes with learning jiu-jitsu, like learning how to do these things, yeah, I of course am biased. I want everybody to try jiu-jitsu and do jiu-jitsu.
Would it be great if every single school have jiu-jitsu or judo there?
Yeah.
Because all the students, they would understand they are the same. Nobody's more than somebody else, And some people, the bullies treat people like that. They think they are the kings and the other are slaves, But in the environment with fight and, these things, I think so they would learn to respect more people and understand that always have someone more prepared than you to beat you up. So, right? So change the mentality a little bit,
Even with adults, that's one thing I love about going into a jiu-jitsu class is, like you put on your gi and you walk in the door and you were like just a student of jiu-jitsu. It doesn't matter. You're like a mom, you've had 4 kids, or you just worked a busy day, like all of that gets left behind. You enter the mat, you're just a human, like learning. There's no sorry about the dogs. There's no it's a very real environment, right? Like there's no pretense. You are exactly where you're at. Maybe you're starting, maybe you're coming back after you've been injured, maybe you're really good, and you're there to teach others and still be learning, but it's a very real environment. Like you cannot fake anything in jiu-jitsu. It's all like super raw, super real. You're working with exactly what you've got. And every little bit that you improve, you worked really hard for. Like you earned that. Like somebody said to me, like, if things are working 20% of the time, you're doing great. If you're failing 80% of the time, you're still doing great with jiu-jitsu, right? Like every time you actually do a move when you're live rolling, or get a submission, it's like a huge victory because you know what went into to get that. And I love that. I think even as adults, we need to place ourselves in more environments like that where we're challenged in really great ways. And I think jujitsu will provide that for me for the rest of my life, for sure. Like it's, as long as you have people to continue to grow with in that world.
Yeah.
Which I don't have any shortage of. So, yeah.
But the great thing of jiu-jitsu, inside the mats, right? So everybody's the same. No financials, different religions, sex preferences, and everybody's the same inside the mats. The build, everybody respect everybody, and is there to help the others, and of course develop better skills for themselves. But I don't know. I think so. The environment in most of the schools is very positive and really gonna change and help people's life. So. And so I tell my friend, he used to be a professional poker player. I said, my friend, in jiu-jitsu, no bluffing,
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Totally different game.
Yeah.
I mean, the only time bluffing is useful in jiu-jitsu is if you can maintain calm under pressure, right? Like you don't want your opponent to know that it's sucking. If it's sucking, you want to still be smiling or calm or like not showing that you're panicking. Yeah.
But that's what I said. First thing you have to learn jiu-jitsu, feel comfortable in the uncomfortable positions, because the guy mounts you, put the pressure on your neck or knee on the stomach, So it's not a pleasant situation, but when you learn to adapt, move your body in a determined angle, you don't want to feel the pressure too much. So you have to learn how to deal with the many uncomfortable things gonna come in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, I think that's honestly another marker for me that I feel proud of myself is like if I just stay calm the whole time, and you're, no matter what it is, they've got your back, they're like about to finish the choke, doesn't matter, your mind is calm, you're fighting till the end, you're giving everything till the end. And that's, to me, there's a victory in that as well, of like maintaining your dignity, even if it's hard, right? There's a lot of opportunities for that in jiu-jitsu, for sure.
And the other thing very important is always training with as many different people as you can, right? Because every situation, everybody gonna react different. And the humans are only afraid about the things they don't know. What you know is coming, you don't gonna be afraid because you have been in that situation before and you know how to deal with the problem, So the variation of training partners is something very important too, because you can open your horizons of your mind to understand different reactions that can happen in different situations, So that's what I experience.
Yeah, absolutely. I know when I went to trained when I was just in Austin, but I decided to go to a jujitsu class when I was there. And I felt so nervous going. Like it was like going to my first jujitsu class all over. Like in my head, I was like, oh, Americans are going to be more intense than a Canadian. You know, I just had like the story running, and it was totally fine. Like I realized after that, it was like you could go to a jujitsu class anywhere in the world. You don't even need to speak the language, and walk in and like, yes, probably for me, I would feel nervous initially, but you're going to be able to go and train, and it's still, you know, still going to be the same thing. Like, get your grips, have a plan, take them down. You know, you're still going to go through the same motions, and I love that for sure. It's like a very exciting thing for me. I love to travel, and to know that I could go anywhere and take a jujitsu class and experience the culture of that jujitsu gym, or you know, that place in the world through jujitsu.
Jiu-jitsu, rule number 1, stay on the top. Rule number 2, don't lose the top.
Yeah, that I have to work on.
Be on the
Yeah.
top, very important, you know, because how I said, it's you and the gravity against the opponent, you know.
So I'd love to ask you, I know you said you have the tournament coming up at the end of May. What else do you have, like for anybody listening in, what else do you have coming up? Seminars, workshops that you'd love to tell us about that people can look out for?
Okay, so we're gonna have this tournament here, right? So, and I'm planning to bring my friend and my partner, he's member of the Top 5 seminar, Marcus Santos, you know. I'm planning to bring him to Canada here to do a seminar here too, you know. I'm
Nice.
checking the dates and flights and everything, you know. Maybe you're gonna go to Saskatoon to my representative school, do one day there, do another day here, you know. Gonna be fun. And I hope all you guys, Hank from the island too, you guys can bring some students to make something special happen, you know. Always good to have visitors and see another techniques with the other instructors, you know, because everybody has their own style, but it's always good to have different people come, you know. I brought many people here to my gym. The last one was Riga Machado, many other guys, Damaris Firra, Javier Vasquez, Shaolin, you know, Clark Grace, you know, so many people I brought here to do seminar. I always try to, you know, expand the knowledge of the students, and they see different styles of jiu-jitsu.
I would love to come to that one. Definitely, I'll keep an eye out for it on your Instagram. We post it on the Marcus Soares Instagram.
Yeah,
The upcoming ones.
I'm gonna post it there. And the other thing I would like to talk is about my tournament, because my tournament's different from other tournaments. You know, we give you points only for the submission attempts, right? So, for example, the other federations, they give you points, for example, for takedown, for mount, for this and that. So, but if you have 1,000 points, if you tap, you lose the fight. This is number 1. And number 2, let's go suppose you almost had a sweep in somebody, you get one advantage, and the guy almost submit you like 3 times in the fight. So the guy almost sweep the guy, he's better than the guy almost submit him 3 times? No, in my opinion, no. In my opinion, the rules are wrong for jiu-jitsu, and that's how I said it. People take too many products today, they are super strong, you know, and they stall the fight. They don't fight. So I don't even have patience to watch jiu-jitsu nowadays anymore. It's only few guys fight real jiu-jitsu nowadays, you know, but most of the guys, they fight for the rules, right? So, and they don't fight. So it's not cool to spend the time to see 2 guys measuring strength there, right? So they don't show any technique, nothing, right? So that's the reason my tournament I do with this kind of system for points for the submission.
So it's
quite more dynamic.
It's not submission only. It's points for submissions attempted. Is that right?
Exactly, yeah. If you take the guy down, mount, knee on the belly, sweep it, nothing you're going to get points. Only submission attempt. Because you can be aggressive from the bottom too, right? But you need to have a very good guard. So don't let the guy pass your guard and put the pressure, right? So the important is go for the submission, because if you watch you want to see the, for example, soccer, you want to see the goal, hockey too, boxing, you want to see the knockout, right? So if you see the guys don't do nothing, boxing, just ducking and don't throw any punch, not fun. Jiu-jitsu the same. They have to go for the submission, That's the way I learned how to do jiu-jitsu, and that's the way I'm doing my tournaments.
Sorry, I'm trying to make my dogs be quiet.
Dog is hungry, man.
Yeah. Well, that's really exciting. I have never competed in a points only competition myself, but I have been watching them, and it's very different because they're just like hanging out in the position, and you're like, okay, like this is a completely different game. And I can see the benefit of it perhaps, but that's really exciting to hear for my son for sure will be excited to hear that, because he is more excited to compete in that way than in the points. So yeah, to each their own, I guess.
Yeah, gonna be fun, All the other tournaments I had here was very cool. Many people like these rules better, So
and that's at the Maple Ridge or Langley location. Where are you?
No, this tournament is gonna happen at the Richmond Oval.
Oh yes, yeah. I remember
now.
now.
Place there, so
yeah,
it's gonna happen.
Cool. Yeah, I'm not competing, but I will talk to some people from our team and see if anybody's jumping in. Yeah, that's very exciting.
That's good.
Yeah. Well, is there anything else that you want to share today? I know you and I could talk for hours, and maybe we'll do another one in a couple of months when I have more jiu-jitsu knowledge and questions.
No, what I have to say, everybody should be involved in jiu-jitsu because it's a very good atmosphere, and especially here in North America, it's a place where you make friends. Many people here have no friends, and they come to jiu-jitsu to have friends, to talk to someone, and that's it. Your life is gonna be better, happier, healthier, So I recommend it to everybody, and of course, give self-confidence for you. That's what's important in life,
Yeah, I agree. There's nothing like those friends that you get to beat them up and then go hang out together afterwards.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a special kind of friendship for sure.
Exactly.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, and really an honor to have you here, and super wonderful to hear your stories and hear more about Carlson Gracie. And I look forward to coming over and getting to train with you soon. So
thank you very much. It was my pleasure to be here. I hope to be with you soon again. Okay.
Sounds awesome.
Bye.
Thank you, Marcus. Bye.
Bye.